Welcome to Marwitz Customs, YouTube edition. Like and subscribe, all that great stuff. Today we're doing Junkyard Dale Resurrection. Yesterday, I should have did some before photos, but this was in my drawer from last year, and it's a stock Tyco 440 X2 and Dale Earnhardt. I don't think it was ever ran. It was like just dust. So cleaned it up. It looks like someone may have put in the windshield with the notch. No, there's no hole there, but there's the spot for them to cut it at Tyco to put the flag. Let me look at a couple of others that I got around me and see if they have that. There's a little bit of a spot on the Allison for that. It's not anything to get up in arms about if you get a car that someone cut the flag off or whatever. If you're buying something brand new or whatever, that's a whole, another story. If it's in the package, then Tyco did it, right? But since you took it out of the package, you're going to be the one that gets blamed for it. But it's a good runner and everything. It's worn out. It needs to be completely gone through, and tires have cracks in them. And it was in my drawer last year, actually on a broken chassis, which I kept here. So I've pitched that a few times, and this is, I don't know, take 3 or 4. I called in to eat and some other stuff. So we're out in the shop today. It's cold. I've got heaters on. Obviously, the first step is you want to do is remove your body. And we're just going to do what we call a stock teardown. So we're assuming that you want to clean your car or upgrades. This kind of starts here. With tearing your car down and putting it back together, and we'll go through all that together, learn together. If you're new to the hobby, welcome. If you have any kind of questions, generic, brand new, guys that have been around forever, have comments or anything like that, that's something I may have missed. I'm still relatively new to this too, so bear with me. Be kind and rewind. Let's get this going here. So again, stock Tyco 440 X2. It looks like about right there is where it sat on somebody's shelf. So there is a little crusty on that plate for the armature, but I wouldn't worry about any of that too much. If your car looks like that, the more you run it, that stuff will go away. So we have a completely bone stock car, so we'll start by removing the rear end and removing the front end. You can press right here on these 2 little plates is kind of where I go to pull those out. And then we're going to remove our shoes, and I can sense some people are already like, oh man, those springs are so hard to put in. Yeah, sometimes you get lucky. If you want to see upgraded Viper or Hardin Creek upgrades that I do to these cars, just ask. I got asked, I think 5 times just yesterday about why don't you do a Tyco rebuild, and a few times last week as well, but we were away at the Cleveland show. So gonna take my pinion remover. This is from hcslots.com or Hardin Creek Slots down in Florida. Terry sells these on his website, and we're just gonna give this guy a little push, and you can take your fingers from there and pull that out. Drop that down in your work tray. I get these from Extreme 3D Customs. Andrew's an absolute Awesome guy. Still in our thoughts and prayers with him. He lost his father. I know what that's like. So I'm with you, brother, and I will call you soon. I'm kind of just giving you your space. But once you're a part of this community, you'll gravitate towards certain people. But I think amongst every group, everybody pulls together when we lose someone or someone's parents or whatever. So God bless Andrew and his family during their time of need. So the Tyco 440s, before like the next step I do, you can use a bread tie, go to your kid's orthodontist. Tool wise, I really only have 4 tools, which you're going to see today. Plastic tweezers. We're going to go around the back of the motor, and I shot one of these across the room earlier. It's not uncommon. You'll find it 4 months from now while you're under the workbench and go, there's that rubber band. So, but you can use, I mean, I've used hair ties, the little twist ties from bread. If you don't have these rubber bands, anything like that will tie it off. At this point in the game, it doesn't matter that it's there. So if you're at this point in installation, this is where you would want to remove it so you can put your pin, if you've got like a rubber band 5 times around it. But these rubber bands are your saving grace. So you want to be kind of down by your work area at this point, because you may lose those springs. The Tyco chassis is kind of spread apart, and at that same time you're just going to push down, and that's going to pop out, and it may grab a motor or a traction magnet with it while we're at that part, so I don't have to retell you this later. The Tyco shoes are a block, and then they have a little block. That little block part is always going to go down at the track. So we'll go ahead and put this guy back in, and then I can get this part set aside for now. So we'll put this one in. I did match these up, and what that means is basically like take the magnets and whatever side of the car this part they snap up against. I did the back sides. It snapped up against this side, so I did that on driver's side, and then snap the other one for passenger. So I already have those kind of, I forgot the word they use for that. It's in the racing world, but it's like match grading, basically. So that'll kind of stay together. If it don't, you can always put a tire in between there to keep that. And then as we go to do the install, the tire will just fall off in your tray. So there's really, it's just a game of patience with these. They're not that hard. The easy part is taking them apart. So I don't have all that fancy commercial brake stuff. So if you hear me get quiet, it's because I either got up to stand up. It's freezing cold in here, so I walked over to the heater, or I went and grabbed my coffee that I left over here. So I still got a giant mess. Still bringing stuff out here. My AFX table is covered in parts. I've been converting over to trays, and I found these really cool Husky toolboxes to put under, one right in front of me for tools and the other for parts off to my left, so I can just pull out a bin when I need parts for certain things. Yes, it's that bad. I was going through my tire box. I must have found 30, maybe 40 sets of old AJ's rear axle assemblies, front axle assemblies. Some stuff was new in the bag still. I was searching for a super tube front end because I have enough to build. Well, I need a top plate still, but enough to build two. But that top plate version, that second one, I may do something different with that. The other one will be a like true stock, just fully polished version, just like the one on my pictures. I just need one for at home. So when people do inquire about it, how much is it, and can you send me more photos? That car's in a display case at Slot Car Central in Syracuse, New York. So I have no way to access photos. So anyway, going back to the parts, all the parts that I have purchased over the past, let's say year and 2-3 months, it's just crazy. Like, I open drawers and I'm like, where did this stuff come from? And I just got my tire bin sorted, so now I'm gonna do tires based on Tyco, AFX, etc. Down into the custom wheel stuff, because it does kind of start to get garbled all together. And get all that stuff kind of straightened out here probably in the next couple weeks, weather-wise, looking ahead, that I can get back to painting. And so in the meantime, I can do videos like this. We just did the Cleveland show. That was an absolute blast. If you are a builder of these and modifying them with Viper or any other company's parts, there's some people out there that buy this stuff, like my G Plus parts. I got one guy now that's like, I want all your old stuff. I don't care. Like, they want it all. So those, when I build brand new. This was a takeoff from obviously the car was ran. I mean, just look at the commutator, but relatively new car, still perfectly working order or whatever, but bag and tag and throw them in a Ziploc bag. I do it with my Auto World chassis and have a buyer for those. And all that stuff does is allow you to buy more parts for your Viper builds, for example. So don't be afraid to put that stuff up for sale. There's people who do want it. So they do race and stock classes and all that kind of stuff too. So all right, let's get to the next step. This is where a pair of jeweler style or small needle nose come in handy. We're gonna get our shoe springs up and out of the way. Those can go over here for now. So these, I like to just get about just under a half and just put my hand on the front bulkhead and just turn and pull, but turn first and just gently start to pull, and they'll get looser and looser and you'll feel it. And it's just a game of patience. Take your time. And they come out, and I'm gonna go right with that one, and then we'll do this one because we're just doing a tear down and build. I don't want to cross them over. Same thing over here, just gently twist and pull and they'll come out, and they won't shoot across the room, and you'll throw this in a bag and never build it again. My Tyco springs and shoes, I think all my stock stuff I got from Slot Car Central. All my upgraded stuff I've gotten from Viper. So if you want to see that real quick, I'll give you an example. Viper sells a full contact shoe. I try to keep, I don't know, 20-30 sets of each. The stock as well. And so you can kind of see a difference between the two. Get the sheen area off the camera, and you can see the contact point the difference between the full contact and a stock shoe. There's nothing wrong with the stock shoes. But if you're racing or just want better performance, you can move over to a full contact shoe. But truthfully, people have been running the Tyco cars and enjoying them for years with the stock stuff too. So it's kind of just personal choice at that point. So we're assuming your car's filthy dirty. The other tool I brought out to use today, I'm just gonna put my finger between those magnets, is just a toothbrush. So you would want to pull those magnets out, pull your pin out, and take that in the house or whatever, warm water and some dish soap, and just go ahead and give it a good, brush down, clean out, get all the oil and funk and Brenda, the babysitter from 1982's hair out of the axles, all that great stuff. I'm actually very glad I don't have to do that in this video. So that's pretty much the 4 tools I have. So put that away, and the pinion tool will keep out. The plastic tipped tweezers. Amazon sells like a variety pack for like 12 bucks. And then our needle nose. And we'll kind of keep our tools and everything straight. So once that's clean, you can kind of set that aside. So once you have these out, and if that's all you're doing, it's basically cleaning the tubes or replacing them if you don't want to bother with trying to get all inside there. But things like brake clean and that sort of stuff are kind of, apparently people don't use in the hobby. WD-40 makes a cleaner / electrical spray. I guess if I had to clean these, that's probably what I would use. And then just hit it with a can of air. And then you can maybe take a toothpick with a piece of tissue and just twist it in to pull the funky stuff out. And you're pretty much good to go from there, and you're replacing the springs and brushes anyway. So if you're going with the higher end Viper stuff. So at this point is when you're going to remove your rubber band. And hopefully I don't shoot this one across the room. Yay. So at this point, it's like just pull apart. It's kind of easier to explain once it's all apart. There's your taken apart Tyco. That's what every table in America looks like when people tear their stuff apart. Give or take a few springs. So what you want to do at this point is count your dots. I'm just kidding. There are dots on the bottom of the plates and all that, like right under the hole. You can see 4 little dots. And then this one has 4 on the front plate as well. Truthfully, right now in the game, like, I could care less. But as a marker, as you put this back together, you put the front bulkhead in where the 2 holes where your brushes are going to go in. That's your front. I think you guys kind of get the idea of that. If you're new, your end cap has a square and then a more rounded. That rounded's going to go on the top. And where I think it gets confusing with Tyco is because you're putting this in from the bottom. So this is actually the top and that's the bottom. So you just want to match that up. Is that incorrect? Yes, it is. So give that a spin. If you're modifying, changing motors, that sort of thing, and you're doing it from a stock car, you're going to have a movement check here, which I'll show you in a second. This one's got a little bit of extra movement, but I didn't bother shimming it or anything because it's a stock car, and I just don't feel the need to do that with a car I'm just going to run on the track. If I was going to race the car or drag race the car or anything like that, then of course you want this movement in here to be as minimal as possible, somewhere around like 1, maybe 2 to 3 thousandths of an inch. So you can put a shim in to make that happen. So at this point, if you've lost reference of where you are, you can look at another Tyco 440, and the white on the magnet is going to go on the driver's side or left if you're looking down at the top of the chassis. And then your other magnet has no color on it. You can put a red dot or whatever if you want to, but that's usually the racers will do that stuff. So when I see that, now I question things, so I would rather just not. The white goes up top, and then the just standard one is going to go to your left, and then your dots are on the bottom at the back, BB, bottom at the back, and then up top here at the front of the car. So this piece here is what's going to grab and hold your magnets in place in the rear, your traction magnets. So we're at the rubber band part again. So you're going to go ahead and put that around the tail shaft of your armature, and then around the front part of your shaft of your armature. And now you're kind of held together. You can accidentally drop it or whatever, and kind of sometimes they'll pop out or whatever, pre-form it back in. And I'm assuming by now you've cleaned these two pieces of plastic as well. They get pretty funky, so just soap and water. Once we get coming up here, I'll actually set it out so I remember where to show you all that great stuff. But we'll put out the, there we go, we'll put out the oil so you see that. That's important. So you're at that point now where you can go ahead and put your brushes in, and like I said, I did have right and left, so I'm gonna hold that left is where my thumb is. You can see the brushes on the work tray. You can use a paper plate, or you can use, you know, whatever you do, you kind of thing. If they don't want to stay together, that's perfectly okay. Set that down. You don't need tweezers to pick these up, but there's like a little rounded part on one side, and then a little banana shaped. That's the part that's going to go around your commutator. That's going to go outward. The little dot is going to go in, and that's where you want to check your spring tension. Make sure that you have spring tension, or that your spring is in. And then I'm going to bring this up to where my hand is so that this can remain straight. And sometimes, you know, you have to finagle it around. Get that as straight as you can, and just kind of push, and it'll go into place. And I'll show you a little trick that I do here in a second. So we're going to grab our second one, and same thing, we're going to move the motor assembly towards our brush to make that a little easier. And I'm going to keep my finger now on the other brush instead of the bulkhead, and just get that in there and give that a gentle push in. And then once we get our pinion gear on, which I can get started because it's out of the car, but if it's not, that's what this tool's for. And those little indentated holes, and you can find out, this is a, I think this is a 8-tooth, so that seemed to fit it good. But you just press that in until you feel it stop. I can look where it's at right now, and it did not hit here, so it seemed to stop right there. You've seen the car at the beginning of the video. Lash was good. So this is the next part, which a lot of people regret ever taking it apart. So you're Gonna get our springs over left and right, and I'll show you what I do to make this a little easier on you, because this can be either like right together or it can be a pain. But if you look at how they're sitting right now, like flip this guy over. Again, patience. Everything will come together sooner or later. There we go. So this long end is where oh, y'all are laughing at me now, huh? Oh. Well, I'm a beginner too. So here's a demonstration of a spring that goes in the trash. As you can see where somebody pulled to stretch that because they broke off the long end, so they tried to pull it around. This is just one that I've found in the tray from a previous job. So we'll go ahead and pitch that, get that out of the way. But this part isn't as bad as you may think. Just kind of pick up your car, and you're going to loop the small end around this little tab right here, and then you've got your long end sticking down. So you want to hold that straight now. Grab your other one that you're going to put on the left, and I go right up against and around that so that I can push that on. Now, those are just resting in place. They may move. They may not move. They may go right into place. Again, just be patient. Sometimes it may take 2 to 3 times to get it right. Sometimes they snap right into place. There's no science behind it. If you do this 1,000 times, you'll be an expert at it. You know, but the truth is, most of us do 6 to 7 of these a year. I've done quite a few last year. My year's kind of resetting. I want to look. What I'm looking for is that little groove where the 2 barrels are going to go into place. And I just want to make sure that we're there. So I kind of check my shoes. Get that lined up to there. Slide this big guy over, and it doesn't seem like it wants to go. So I'm going to reset my rubber band. That's what the rubber band's for, is to get your magnets and everything kind of re-put into place. Again, patience. And sometimes these bad boys go right in, and sometimes they don't. So I've got that straight, and we'll give her another try here. So it's the stretching of the chassis part, I think, that causes all that craziness. But it's kind of a pop it in, and then you're gonna fit and make sure everything's snapped into place. I hope I got all that on camera. At that point, you can kind of push this up and down. Make sure these are snapped in. And at that point, we can go ahead and remove our rubber band and move on to the shoe installation part. So these rubber bands are reusable, and I guess until they break. If you're using a rubber band that you've got wrapped around there 50 times, just go ahead and cut it, scissors or razor, whatever you have, and get that out of the way. These shoe springs stay on the insides of these tabs. I know that in the past, when I was younger, they didn't care. You know, they can go on either side, because why would there be 2 tabs from Tyco? Well, I don't know, but they seem to go better on the inside. So you start with one side. You can pick a side at this point. This one's laying down inside there, as you can see. it's pushed back. So we'll kind of move around to this side of the car now, and we're going to go ahead and get our shoe. We're using a stock Tyco shoe on this car, and they have kind of two methods of putting this together. One is, if you get really lucky, you can rock that. I quit with them unless I'm doing like the Viper builds. They have a dual spring. Those are what I kind of use, but you can use your pinion tool or tweezers, which I really had those notched tweezers. Let's see if I have those. Let's see if I brought those out here, because I think I did. And if I did, I'll tell you who made them and how awesome they are. I'm gonna take a stand up here and look in my tray. Hopefully my wheels on my chair don't slide across the room, shoot me into my... Thought I brought them out here. Like I said, we're still under construction, but I got these really cool tweezers. Let me look and see if they're in here, and I can show them to you. It's always a personal preference with this stuff, realistically. Like, you figure out what you like to use, that sort of thing. I just thought I'd try something new and show you. I just thought that, you know what, I think they're right here. If they are, yes they are. We'll give them a try right on video. So these are from NGen, and they're just a notched pair of tweezers. You can get in touch with her if you want to get a pair from her. I got these at the Cleveland show from her, but we'll give them a try with this. So you obviously want to hold your shoe as straight as possible. You'll feel the back side of that spring where you can kind of hold it straight. And I'll go ahead and close these, and we'll notch that and go around, and we'll try it again, because that looked like it was gonna do the magic. This is the tedious part of this, of any Tyco build. I hope I'm still on camera. Let me turn the camera a little bit, because I'm pulling it more towards me so I can really see, because those pins are, I think I'll turn the tweezer around. These can be a real booger and make people unhappy, and then they call me up going, bro, man, I can't do it. You got to do a video. Got to show me how to do it, man. So there's one. So great job, Mrs. NGen. I dig them. But they're for picking up springs too, for like T-jets and non-mag, mag, specialty chassis, auto world springs, whatever you're working on. These things are pretty cool. So far so good. I might have a new tool for, like I said, we all kind of find what we like and kind of gravitate towards that. So get this over here. Am I still on film? There we go. Look at this down here. So I'm taking the part of the shorter end. The way she notched them is actually pretty brilliant. So I'm taking the shorter end with the little line in there, and I'm gonna push down. I'm gonna slide down and go over and pray again. And if I can get one of those ends down in there, we can get her in. If not, take your, you just give it you keep trying, you don't quit. But this is the tedious part. And again, sometimes these things just fall right into place. Other times they fall out of your hand and you get all spun out and want to quit the hobby. And I'll buy all your cars for $1 if you want. So that was a joke. Actually, at the Cleveland show, I picked up some cars. I'm like, man, I should have taken a photo of my book, because I did take the Tyco guide on the F1 stuff, and I made, you know, a list of which I should have made a list of which cars I needed, and I did buy a double, so I'll probably put that up for sale. It's the compact computer car. I accidentally now own 2, so, which is okay. But if any of you are into Tycos and don't have that, there we go. So sometimes they're a bear, and sometimes, you know, they're pretty hard to put on, and then sometimes they just go right in. I love the double spring shoes. I get mine from Viper Scale Racing, and I'm pretty confident. I think I watched a video where I know, you know, like, one thing about that dude is, like, he's humble enough to say, like, I didn't invent this. I mean, like, I'm not the first one to be doing this video, for example. So it's kind of like, you know, who invented what? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, they sell it. The price is decent. You know, they sell 5 pair for, I don't know, $7 or something. So your axle, you want to align your crown gear, pinion, and crown. I always say ring and pinion from being a mechanic, but it's crown gear. So you want to line your crown gear up with the white magnet always, regardless of the car, unless you want to run in European mode, then you can switch them. Some cars run fine that way. You're going to find your higher end race cars really don't. They have a specific way that they're built, and that, so that, like a purpose built race car, you're not going to go changing stuff. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm pretty happy to have shared this information with you. Again, if there's anything I missed, any questions you may have to do more, or Mark, the camera didn't show this, or whatever, and you need another quick little 2-minute video that I can do and throw it up on the Facebook page, that's Marwood's Customs. I think the YouTube is, if you type in Marwood's AFX, I think it pops up. So, but what we'll do at this point now is show you guys that don't know where to lube your car. So you're going to want to do the front pinion. I like this droplet bottle. I don't know where Viper gets that from, but put some in the top, do the back, and because you did a fresh build, you're going to do this by hand. You're going to do a little drop on your rear axles. I wouldn't worry too much about the fact that you're going to slop a little oil around at this point. Do a couple teeth of the crown. Just give that a spin. You'll feel it like smooth right out. Lastly, your front axle. And then what you want to do is you're going to want to look at how your shoes are riding on the track. Give that a little lube, that a little lube. And I'll get in my tire bin here later. Give that a little spin. But you're going to want to run this around. I'll put this on here and I'll show you what I mean. So right now, if you look at your shoes, you know, they're brand new or whatever. All the heat shield, yeah. You guys, I kind of have a pet peeve about this, but these were put on so little kids didn't get burnt. I understand that, but it's like, you know, when you take them and like throw them away, it takes away from the authenticity of the car. And Tyco actually made a pretty cool white one with vent holes in it. So I know they're not the easiest thing to put on, but let's go ahead and put this guy back on if we can. If not, we'll let it go. But I know they're not an important part of the process of, you're an adult now, and I think you understand when you pick up your slot car that you can burn your hand. So if you are burning your hand, you've got serious problems. But I like to keep them on. Just keeps dust and crud out of the motor. But we'll get this on the inspection block. We'll set Mr. Allison over there. He's gonna suck that, like, watch this. So the difference between a Pro 10 car and then a stock build. So if you're into this stuff and you don't want to do it and you don't want to have it built or whatever, just PM me or whatever. I'll either have time to do them this year. Got a lot of paint jobs to finish from last year. Or I can point you in the direction of some people who can build them or whatever. I know people send stuff to Viper, but I get a lot of stuff sent here too, and a lot of the G Plus stuff comes here. I'd rather that go to Viper, and I'll do the Tyco so that he can be a foremost expert. He's watching right now. He's probably not saying nice things about me. But anyway, it's not that he hates the G Plus. It's like he doesn't, I think, understand, you know, all the parts, the complexity of that car. But, and it's not like he's, you know, friggin' 90 years old or anything. It's just, he just doesn't get it. I know he's younger than me, because more probably like a 90s kind of kid, that mid 90s, you know, the Super GA, I think, is what the Vipers are basically the starting point from. But the G Plus for most of us is like the Gen X car, you know. It's like the forgotten generation car, and you know, we've done a lot to help promote that and get you guys that do love them as much as I do to yeah, here's an important step. Put your tools away when you're done, so you can go in and climb under the covers. And I have Crohn's disease, just so a lot of you that if you don't know, I don't mind sharing. I don't know how YouTube works, but I was told, you know, oh, you know, people send you money. Don't send me any money. Send it to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America. I did a lot of stuff with them back in my days of music and our veterans. So if you want to send money to our veterans, you know, I don't need your money. So I just want you to learn. I was asked to do this. So going back to the car, I hope I was clear on that, and I'm jumping all over, but that's just who I am. Get used to it. But Dale's up and running, man. We got a new chassis, and it looks like some new tires and wheel adjustments are needed on the front, because I can see the axle not going through one wheel, but yet pushed way out on the other side. You can see the axle there. Barely see it there. Look, disappears. So I'll get that all taken care of, and we'll have some fun with these old NASCAR style cars this year. So you put this on your inspection block and like run it back and forth, or take a piece of track. Let me grab one so I can show you. If you don't have an inspection block, it's okay. I didn't have one at one time, and I somehow made it, but now that I have one, I understand why they're made. So we'll kind of take a piece of track here, and just rub the car along the track. Just kind of feeling the car. I can feel like, obviously I can hear the crown and pinion. They're both new. This car was, I don't know what the heck happened with that chassis, why it was broke. If it was just like a one lap, someone pulled it out, you know, got the semi set or whatever and just pulled it out and just let it rip, smack, and broke the chassis or whatever. But you'll want to put this on your, lube it, put it on your track, run about 2-3 laps on a normal layout. Let's say 22 feet. If you're doing some 92-foot layout, just do like a half a lap and reach over and grab the car and re-lube it, because you know you need lube down in here. Same thing with at the back. And then you'll want to just inspect lube. You can see where it's kind of rubbed down onto the frame right there and right there, just from spinning around. But as you can see, you can start to see where your shoes are hitting and then adjust those from there. And if you want to see a video on how to adjust those, let me know. We'll do one. I'll get this on the track and do some laps here after I get the table cleaned off. I'm just waiting for it to get warmer. I've got like 8-foot grass out there and it's like 40 degrees. And who wants to mow in 40-degree wet grass? I don't. But you can start to see where the shoes are hitting. Let me get it out of the chrome light there, make it so you can see. You can kind of see where they're hitting. One of them is going across the driver's shoe. That one looks like it's going across quite well. And then the passenger's towing, it's hitting like right on the edge. So that might need to be like just tweaked up a little bit. But you know, again, this is why I use the full contact shoes. I don't mind these, but sometimes you get into an adjustment situation. You don't really want to bend that spring or mess around with that stuff. Again, if there's those of you pros out there that know a way to, you know, hang on to this but bend that up, put it in the comments. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the track in the future. Marwood's Customs out. There's your finished car.